All right, hello everybody, we are back. This time with a walkthrough for the new Kapital collection. New as in current to spring, summer 25, but we just got a big shipment, so we're keen to show it off with some things that came prior. Timbo, this is from the collection that when we were in Japan last October, went to the fashion show, this is what was debuted. Really cool. The theme, if you're unfamiliar, is around the father of the folks who run Kapital now has passed, but he started Kapital with a C long ago. Just a denim company, Kapital Inc. or Kapital Denim, still with a C. And so actually a fun fact is some of the Kapital gear that we have currently, if you look at the tag, like in the newspaper bag, it's spelled Kapital with a C. It's kind of cool, like a little nod, if you know, you know. Yeah. But anyway, that's kind of like the overarching theme. Things that you would expect from Kapital are a lot of denim-centric things.
To me, it felt like maybe this was a nod to like early seasons of Kapital. Like as it just started to kind of go from pure denim to a little bit more influence. So it feels like a lot of return to like kind of classic influence that they've had throughout the years.
Cool,
so,
cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess without further ado, that is that. We've got 4 outfits pulled on 4 of our staff members.
Talk to me about styling on this one.
I went freaky with this. I wanted it to be an example of like what you can do with Kapital on the high and the low. So like a more wearable, but still very forward version. And then something, as you'll see with Kirabo's outfit, is really to the nines. We're pushing it, making it all that Kapital is and that people know it for when you think of the imagery of Kapital. Certainly when you think of like the runway looks and stuff that they've done most recently for their fashion show and otherwise. So yeah, it's cool. And we'll talk through those looks and kind of my thinking for them, but I wanted it to go from super wearable, normal, might not even scream Kapital to clearly you're wearing Kapital. And then
yeah, I mean, I think there's quite a spectrum with Kapital on how to style it. Some people buy one piece and fit it into their otherwise more subdued wardrobe. Some people just you're all in and it's everything all together, and it weirdly works both ways. So let's see how it works.
Yeah, so it'll be a lot of fun. We'll go ahead and hop right into it. I'm looking forward to this one. I'm feeling really excited.
All right, bring him in.
Come on in.
Coming in with both guns drawn.
Honestly, both theoretically and legitimately, we are lucky you are not concealed carrying right now. But
you checked him.
Listen, so when I pulled these outfits this morning, I was like, this has not been getting enough play. I don't think we've styled it yet or pushed it all. I was like, obviously Kirabo will wear this. Now, for some quick backstory, when Kirabo comes into work, he's got these light wash jeans, some cowboy boots, and he tucked a chambray into it. He did this yesterday, I think. I tell him all the time, I think it looks so nice on him. It looks so natural and good. When he wears his Western shit, love it. So I was like, all right, I know what we're doing.
Yeah.
So,
no, I think it plays. I don't even know how to tell you that it exactly works because you don't read Western like it's not your style, doesn't do anything Western, but you'll do kind of that boot cut with the boot, and I think that's it. That's the money. Now I think it helps that you're tall.
Yeah.
I think that certainly helps, but I think honestly, like when you lean into Western, like you've done here, or like Kapital kind of does, where it's like you lean in, but there's a switch up on it. That's when it really works. Because this is technically a coach's jacket. Yeah. If you take the fringe off, you take the embroidery off, it's just a coach's jacket. Snap button, it's nylon, really easy to wear, breezy, awesome. It's simple other than that. And I think everyone could wear a coach's jacket. Why not?
So
then you just add this stuff in and it becomes this different thing. I think this feels super intimidating, but as you're seeing, once you kind of like, and we're not playing things down, but if you imagine this as being a white t-shirt or a white Oxford plain with light wash jeans with nothing else going on, it like tapers everything off a little bit.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make this feel so wild. It feels like there's one statement, and instead of having multiple statements, you just have one.
Yeah.
So that's certainly a way you could have played this. Now, I think the exact opposite, if you're gonna make it work, is to lean all the way in like you've done here.
All the way.
And then that works also really well.
I mean, these jeans are like cowboy cut, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like you see a tall cowboy
Slim
fella
but nice top block.
Yeah, exactly. We have the Lemaire pipe lovers. I just thought it'd make, like you said, you suggested these, it'd be a little more formal. We got the tie going on, so I didn't want a sneaker or something.
It almost has an Oxford thing happen, like a, Ivy kind of situation.
Totally. That's what I said. I said, you can give a presentation on this, dude. So, but absolutely love it. And then we haven't styled the Virgin Mary ties ever, and this is the last one we have. But incredibly cool. Again, doesn't even read as super loud or anything. It's just like a pattern more than anything. So.
Well, and you've got the kind of classic, which the something Western motorcycle, whatever you want to interpret, that happening there too is another little added detail. But for example, take the jacket off, which is the bold statement, and just put like a navy blazer, and suddenly now it's like, oh, this is very fashionable, even though it's kind of straightforward.
100%.
You can switch this up in a lot of ways. I think you look at these individual items and think those are hard, or how do I work those in? And you see as you play it all together and put it all together, it doesn't feel quite as intimidating as it maybe looks piece by piece.
Yeah, totally.
So sometimes putting it all on is the right move.
Yep.
You know?
And I will say for the rest of the outfits, we are certainly doing that still. But this is the bread and butter, I think.
Yeah, Kapital's the brand to do it with, I think, is the thing.
So freaking.
And I really like, we vacillated on shoe a little bit, but I think that like doing something low profile, kind of classic. I mean, we're still freaked it a little bit with the Lemaire pipe loafers, but just doing something classic, then like just know where to pump up and where to pump down. You know what I mean? And then you're somewhere in between, and then you're perfect.
Charles?
Yeah, I mean, I love this outfit. I would rock this very often. These jeans fit me very nicely, and I thought these little side bedazzle things were gonna be louder, but honestly, they feel very like natural almost. And this tie is absolutely killer. It's so beautiful. Could rock this and elevate any outfit. It's very cool. Yeah.
Yeah, even if you like went backwards and only had, plain jeans and the Oxford and then just that belt and that tie are enough to make it feel like, oh, cool, this is like really considered, and it's great. So like any given one piece would do it justice, but I really think it works nicely together.
Yeah. You look amazing, dude.
Yeah, incredible.
Sick.
There we go.
All right, so the next one. Get in here, Sager. I'm stoked on this one.
It's cool.
Sage said, listen, it's going to be the Sage show. So I was like, all right, let's get her a cool kit. You know what I mean? But,
Tell me about your inspo here.
So again, Kapital, as I said in the intro, it started as a denim brand. It was just a denim brand. You know what I mean? Didn't have all the flavor that it has now. They've certainly kept that as the company has grown and shifted and evolved over time. So I wanted to have something that is very much so denim centric. When I was looking back through some of the looks from the runway show that we went to, many of them were straight up denim centric. Now, obviously they have multiple treatments. We got this cool embroidery situation up top. We have this repair situation down low. We've got like a denim apron situation as well. She could put the customer service phone in there if you don't know and you call customer service. You're speaking with Sager. So I wanted to have all the denim. I wanted to just do a whole denim situation. You know what I mean? And I got this cool, this is also a capital T as well. And I figured this would you'd be comfortable in the black and white check Vans. We just got in yesterday. I mean, that was my thinking, Timbo, just straight up denim centric. I'm just gonna have it be denim on denim on denim.
Well, I think what works when you're dealing with, it depends on how you start here, but I would imagine if it's me, I start with the pants. You know what I mean? Because the pants feel technically like the boldest thing, even though once they're on, I don't think it feels as crazy. Yeah. But the thing is, a pant like this is gonna do this shape. Again, we're gonna talk about shadows again, so people can talk about it in the comments. Yeah. But it kind of does this sort of bottlenecking thing that happens, especially on her because they're going to fit a little larger. But honestly, that's how if I was going to buy these, I'd buy these a size up, at least an inch size up, and then tighten them so they do exactly that. Now, once you've done that, what you don't want to do, in my opinion, is take a jacket or anything that's super long and then put it on there, because now it takes away any of that tucking that's happening and giving her shape. That goes away. So crop jacket with this, I think that's the perfect choice. Tuck in of the shirt, perfect choice. Anything so you kind of bring it in and then bring it back out is going to be like, so it's a little bit more hourglass shape wise, because otherwise you get a little frumpy fast and a bunch of baggy stuff.
You got big, yeah.
Exactly. So I think that like a choice like this where you got it belted up top, you let it hang, you make sure it's not like hanging out too low on the bottom. This is gonna read as baggy and comfortable. Kate was very good at doing this, for example. She really understood how to like create that bigger proportion without it like losing all of the shape inside of it. So, whenever you're doing this baggy on baggy thing, you just want to make sure you're creating shapes and not just like putting it all on and letting it hang, because that very often doesn't work unless you're very big. So I think that proportionally, I think this all really works together nicely, and that's really the key with this kind of stuff, is making sure that like you've got it all evened out.
Yep. Don't have the pants stacking, because like you said, it gets a little frumpy. I like it's up a little bit, sitting right on top of the shoe, nice and breezy for summertime.
Well, and even though these are bolder things, just zoom out a lot. Well, this is basically like mostly one color. You know what I mean? And so take away from the spider webs and the Ortega thing and everything going on. That's just Kapital doing Kapital stuff. Just focus on like it's one color, and if you're gonna go for a bunch of bold shapes, then one color kind of subdues it a bit, which I think looks nice. Yeah. And then I like that you popped that, which is obviously gonna look great against the contrasting stitch. So just being smart about like details like that, I think makes such a huge difference.
Sage said she wore an apron in her coffee days. I know Ryan at Dry Storage, shout out Dry Storage, has also worn a Kapital apron when he's actually working.
I used to work working footwear and we'd wear them. We kind of always just exactly what you did, kind of cock them off to the side and you just treat it like an extra big pocket.
Easy
It's
to
really
get
nice,
into.
especially with a crop jacket like this. That's current pocket is this tiny little guy to the side. You kind of add a little bit of extra, interest, but also add something that is functional.
Yeah. I mean, in my sign painting days, I would have killed to have one of these. I would have been so incredibly helpful. I don't know why I didn't think of that.
I think a lot of people just assume, I got to get my exact size. I don't ever buy my exact size in almost anything.
Yeah.
I size up and then I try to cinch it to create that looser proportion.
It's become a meme at this point, but James Coward, in some of their product descriptions, sizing is a construct. I fully agree. There might be a size that fits you the most precise, I suppose, but you can go up or down. Sage even said she can go from an extra small to an extra large. So it is what it is. It all, yeah. So
hi guys. Well, I guess what I would say when Chase was picking out this fit, if you've seen in videos, I am very simple. I'm like crazy simple, and I was watching him, and I was like, Chase, I'm starting to sweat a little bit. Like what are you putting me in? And then I put it all together, and it does work. I think also just because of the denim, and it's just the right silhouette. I thought these pants were gonna be too big. They're way better on than on the rack, I would say, for sure. Love this thing. Yeah, it was the first Canoe Club item I ever owned.
Really?
Actually, yeah, it was the green one. Willy got for me, and then I wore it all the time, and I loved it. So it's kind of fun. It's like a little throwback for me. Yeah, I like the whole thing. It's really cool. It feels super, just like true Kapital.
I think that's the thing. When you take Kapital piece by piece, looks intimidating. Kapital pushed all together suddenly blends. You know what I mean? So I just don't think you worry about the spider webs. Is just like, do you like it? Great. Don't worry about that. You're not matching to that. You know what I mean?
No,
and same
not
thing
at
goes
all.
for the Ortega print or the things. Like, you're really not. You're trying to create a whole visual identity, not trying to get one piece to fit into something else. You're not trying to shoehorn one thing into the next. So I think it works nicely. I think
Me
you
too.
look great.
I love these guys.
And your shoes,
that's also giving me throwback. It feels like a big throwback outfit right now because I used to wear shorts this color all the time, and then these were my ride or dies all throughout middle school when they thought I was emo, and I wasn't. I just wore these in black skinny jeans, but I'll bring it back. I'll do it.
Bring it back.
I'll
It's
bring it
time.
back.
Yeah, we like it.
Yeah.
I think that also the thing is too, not that even we didn't even mean to do this, but the fact that you just have a bold earring choice, but it's simple. That's the way. You don't need a ton of jewelry with this. Once you've done this, you see people that do that as you've leaned all the way too far one way and it's too much going on. There's nowhere to put your eyes. It's too many things.
We were even fitzing around with the idea of a hat or a bandana. I was like, I think when you leave my hair alone, my face
let it be
alone,
simple.
Everything. Yeah.
Great. It looks
great.
cool. I love it.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
here comes our boy. All right, Al. So, third look. It's Kapital, but it might not scream Kapital.
Yeah.
Right?
So we went from being very bold to less so. And again, I think that the thing that needs to be said, and even though I'm saying it over and over and over again, is silhouette and color. If you decide on those two things, you can kind of then, if you create walls first, you
however you want.
Now you know where you're at in time and space. So I think that color palette is really subdued, really minimal, easy. This could be paired with a lot of other different types of things. So I think let that sort of inspire you first. Then secondarily, you've obviously chosen a very specific silhouette that I'll let you speak to. But everything revolves inside of that world.
Yep. So started with the shirt here. The designer and the son of Kapital, he was wearing this at the fashion show. So I was like, I knew
what you did.
Yeah. So I was like, yeah, that's cool. I like that it's falling below the elbow. And so then I thought proportionally it'd be also pretty cool to throw one of these thermals underneath. So this is also a Kapital thermal, plain on the body and torso. And then it has this floral motif down the sleeves. We've got them in green, pink, and then we've had them in various different treatments throughout the year, some patchwork sleeves, et cetera, et cetera. And then obviously these patchwork fatigues it's the sweet spot for Kapital of it's a pretty normal thing, but where you get the freakiness of it is it's a very full leg, and then the repairs are really cool and genuine repairs, not just surface level. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, and the nice thing about whenever you get repairs or anything into a fatigue is that they've done all the washing and distressing already, so it's going to lay nicely pretty much right out of the gate. Look, you probably want to put one wear into them, but by that point they're going to fall nicely and have that drapiness that you're looking for. I think also whether you did it purposefully or not, every piece is kind of a flip on a classic. This is just a classic, Wrangler Western style shirt. Mm-hmm. This feels like those old health knit things that you would get out of the packaging. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They come individually
And I think
packaged.
there's something that also is nice that it sort of it softens the whole look with the floral pattern. And then it's just a classic fatigue, just done up wild.
Yep.
This is a take on an LL Bean bag. You know what I mean? All this feels very classic.
Yeah,
at the
I
same
didn't do that
time.
intentionally, but it's cool. But it's also just, we're working within Kapital's palette, so to speak, so it's pretty natural. Canoe Club has a reputation of green pants. I've been trying to wear my green pants and get them to the point where they're beat up and shit like this, but these are so cool. This is exactly how I would, in a perfect world, make your shit look if you wore them for a legitimately long time. So.
Yeah, looks great. I love it with the beat up skags and stuff. I just think that like, you know, now you've got like the pants that are supposed to be beat up and worn in, pairs nicely with his skags that he's put great miles on.
Comfortable, layered, a lot of different textures going on. It's awesome. It's awesome. Very flowy.
That's a really good point with the texture, that like every single thing is its own unique texture with the herringbone and the waffle. And then, I think that like what Kapital does best is they just flip classics in a way that you're like, I know that, but that's funky. You know what I mean? And I think that's like when they're shining, that's what they're shining, you know, best with. And this is sort of a perfect example of that.
Al, you look good, dude. I love a full silhouette on you. I know it's something you've been leaning into.
I love it. It's very nice. I don't have much to say about it except that it's perfect. Thank you, Chase. Yeah, you sized me up just right.
There we go.
Yeah, I did. All right, cool.
All right.
Let's go. All right, come on in, Willy.
Bring in our final boy.
I popped off. I said it before, but I'm gonna say it again. Before we started the segment, absolutely popped off. Willy, you look great. This is sick. For this one, I didn't really have any like defined direction. It was just gonna be another wearable outfit from Kapital, but I knew it was gonna be on Willy, so I knew I could push the silhouettes a little bit. You know, he's comfortable in the big shit, so I knew that I could play with the silhouettes. And since you're so slender, things look so good on you. You know what I mean? I love this. I wish that clothes fit me the way this fits you.
Everything
Genuinely.
hangs well.
Hangs so good. Yeah. So we have the Liberty Boro up top. This is cool. Going into 4th of July, which is also Abby's birthday. Shout out America. We got the Liberty Boro. Cookies t-shirt underneath. This is a graphic motif that they brought back for a couple of seasons now. You know and love it. This like vintage kind of worn-in graphic kind of situation. And then we have like a straight up one wash, just denim, fatigue, but you know, again, similar to the pants of all the previous fits. Incredibly high-waisted, so you can wear them a little lower or hike them up, cinch them, belt them, what have you. And then a little cuff here with the cons, and then the denim dyed hat.
It's funny that like each piece kind of that you've selected here is people probably have a version of this in their wardrobe already. Like that's just a pair of raw jeans.
Yep.
It's just the difference is, and you can kind of really tell when they're on him, the way that they're laying, you can kind of tell, not to point out the crotch area, but it like makes the pants sort of lay this way and kind of gives them a more dropped and like drapey look immediately.
Yeah.
But because of the structure of the pant, it hangs and stays a little better.
Yeah.
So sometimes like using like a heavier jean like this to style in this baggier way is actually pretty helpful to like, you know, kind of putting some proportion on the silhouette, which is nice. I like that you broke it up with the sweater. I was thinking it's nice to have like when, especially if you're going out for the day or whatever, to have a lot of different, you got a lot of options now, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You travel like this, you got 3 different outfits kind of baked into one.
I was inspired by the Herald designer after the meeting we had with him. He had a sweater around his waist. Thought it was really sharp.
I mean, and that's the thing, like, I think when you're talking about, like, having inspiration for what you're wearing and stuff, like, seeing that guy who was wearing technically a pair of navy trousers, a white t-shirt, he had everything right. It was a big t-shirt tucked into, you know, more structured pants, but that around the edges. That stuff, bringing that into your own wardrobe, that's really what, when people are like, where do you draw inspiration or what do you do? Like, that's really it. It's just it's just finding pieces.
Nugget, and then how can you interpolate that over to shit you already own or have access to?
And that's why I bring up proportion and silhouette so often, because I think that's the pieces of the puzzle that people just don't have a trained eye on yet. You know, it's looking for that or color or texture as opposed to do these 2 colors match or is my big jean matching with the big jacket? You know, that's very. It's not to say that it's obvious stuff. That's like kind of the first layer. Going from that to like higher styling is really more about all that other stuff that we're talking about.
Yeah.
So once you've trained your eye to look for that, then you start seeing inspiration in a lot of different places as opposed to just like one more straightforward version. That's when things get interesting, I think.
Yeah. So,
but
really
I like
cool.
it. It feels like I said, all these pieces seem normal. It's like a concert tee, zip jacket, driver's jacket, or something like that. Like you can recreate a version of this with things that you likely already have, and then, or you can do it all Kapital, and you can see all this Kapital does not read that fucking nuts. You know what I mean? Like it's definitely bold, but like once you put it together, it really reads nicely.
Because you might see this in a product image and be like, oh, I don't know what I would do with it. It's got stripes, it's got some red, it's got some check, and it might seem too much. But when you put this on, dude, it's just a texture. It's just like wearing a patterned shirt or something.
Like a sweater, anything. Yeah,
it's just a texture. So really cool. Willy, let me know what you think.
I actually really like this. I was like, I didn't know what I was wearing, and I just looked at it. I was like, we'll see. But I actually really like it. I like how like the hat and the jeans kind of have like the same sort of denim, and then the rest is kind of just like goes with the flow. I like how the jacket hangs. I like, I don't really pay attention to like sort of colors and everything. It's more textures for me. So like I'm a big texture guy. So I really like this.
Yeah, it's done that well. And I think also like this can be a little detail that he added in from something that we saw or whatever, but also just remember that breaks things up. And then, you've got a loose t-shirt, loose jacket, loose pants. This tightens it. So now you're again kind of going back to that, tightening it up, bringing it back out. It just creates some diversity in the silhouette, which really makes it feel finished. Yeah.
And legitimately functional.
Yeah, 100%.
You gotta go do shit. And like, for me at least, I can't retain heat. I'm always worried I'm gonna be cold. So even on a hot ass day like today, I know it's cold as hell in here. So I showed up yesterday in shorts. It was the wrong move. It's too cold. You know what I mean? And so this is like going, obviously we're heading into the dog days of summer, but after that, this is very functional. You often do want to have something when you're going to dinner. Who knows where you go after, you know what I mean? So tight around the waist is cool. Breaks up the proportion, adds a little bit of interest, and you have something on you in case you want to throw it on. So
it's
cool.
great. I think also just like, this is a tougher thing, but like, as you know yourself, or we know Willy, you dress you like style him a certain way because you know what's gonna lay nicely or what his personality is. It's like a bit more casual. You can style him in loose things because he feels comfortable that way. Start to understand what your like confidence levels are, because no one's like, there's certainly some, but like no one's 100% confident in every single different thing.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So find out about the person if you're styling, or about yourself otherwise, you know what I mean? Because like you're saying, I'm a texture person. Well, that's easy. You know what I mean? Just focus on that first. Let that be the leader, as opposed to, just being like, I think some people just go piece by piece. It's like, I just want to make those work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, tell me a little bit about the rest of what you wear. You know what I mean? So that you can understand how to make that work. And, so I think anything it's just about making it work for you. In this case, I think that you guys have somewhat similar style, at least in the way you like things to hang.
At least, yeah, sure.
Yeah, so I think that like it's styled well, especially like same thing with Alec. He also has that more like drapey kind of, and then it styles well. So Chase, knowing them and knowing himself, makes it so that you can put these things together pretty easily.
But this has been an absolute pleasure of an exercise. I think if we could view it like that, you know what I mean? It's cool, like you said, you've always said, put yourself in a box, and then you can fuck around however you want. So this was a lot of fun. I like it a lot. I know that our YouTube people love Kapital in particular, and so hoping that this can help you view it through a different lens, see how you can work it into your own wardrobe. So cool. All right. That was that. That was the Kapital walkthrough. A little bit different of a flavor this time, because kind of coming with some ideas or some parameters again, and then seeing how we can work it. So it was a lot of fun. I think the most fun about this exercise was thinking about each of the people individually. As you said, Timothy, on this last look with Willy, it's fun when you know these people's style, kind of how what you can work in within their capabilities, what they feel comfortable in, because I also don't want to put people in stuff that they're uncomfortable in. That sucks. We've all had to wear stuff here where you have to model, and sometimes you got to model the stuff, and it might not be your own flavor. So it's kind of fun to maybe push people in a direction that maybe they would naturally lean towards. So this was a lot of fun.
What was your favorite?
Willy's look.
Willy's look?
I think Willy's look just is the closest to what I would wear.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But Kirabo's is so good for him. Alex was really good as well. Sage's was also really good. I never put anything on Sage, so that was cool.
I liked Alex because I liked how like tonally it was kind of all one thing.
The greens.
You can read very casual that way, very like softer hand. But I also think that I really liked what the proportion that you used for Sage. I think that worked really well.
The pants Sage wore were absolutely stellar. I think I might try those on myself. I thought it was cool kind of falling on top of the Vans too. You know what I mean? That silhouette really agreed with me. I could see myself trying to work that into my own situation. But that was a ton of fun. Guys, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please drop those in there. If there's a brand you'd like for us to do repeat this situation with,
or a category,
or a
style,
category,
or yeah, whatever.
So give us some sort of parameters to work within. This was a lot of fun. I would happily pull some outfits again. That was a lot of fun. Be in touch. You can find us here. You can find us on Instagram. You can go to www.shopcanoeclub.com, patreon.com/shopcanoeclub as well. If you'd like early access to sales, early access to drops, more content of the podcast, which if you are not already familiar, it is called Customer Service Podcast. You can find it on the website. You can find it, I'm sure, in this description and or in the bio on the YouTube. What else, Timothy? What else? Am I missing anything?
No, I think that's
Cool.
it. Well done. It looked
Thank
nice.
you. Thank you, boss.
And we got through it.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So
there we go.
Cool. Everybody was in a good mood. I like it. No complaints.
Yeah.
So
solid day.
Solid day. Be in touch. I'll have a haircut by the next video.
Me too. Bye.
Bye.